Hello, and welcome to this special edition of the Seer Sessions. Today, we're doing a slightly different one. We thought that as Peter, who will introduce himself shortly, is presenting next week, we thought we would give you a bit of a preview about a session at the BizApps Partner Summit in Seattle next week. So, Peter, would you like to introduce yourself as an industry veteran?
Yes, sir. Richard, how are you doing today? Thanks
Right.
for having me on. Peter Joeckel, hands-free, 30-year industry veteran. And as I like to tell people, the only good thing about that is it's not 40 years.
That's fair enough. So tell me a little bit about hands-free then. What do you guys do?
So since I have been in the industry, as I said, almost forever, I've spent the majority of my time selecting, implementing ERP systems. From everything from mom and pops all the way to big international enterprise systems. And I've been in almost every partner model that you could imagine and think of. And I've got experience from everything back to IBM Mapix that ran on AS400s, to today, all of the Microsoft products. So one of the things that I have figured out over the years is that there are a lot of challenges with these projects, and I moved out of the partner model to do what I call client-side consulting. And so hands-free is really dedicated to processes and tools that we identify for creating a higher percentage of success on ERP projects, which, as you know, are difficult projects. And so anything that we can bring to the table to make things, faster, better, cheaper, that's my goal.
Very cool. So we're obviously working with you in the US, and we're very excited about your presentation next week. So why don't you tell us a little bit about what you'll be talking about?
Yeah. So what we're doing is we're going to present our strategy for ERP sales and execution. And what we have found in working with you guys is kind of accidentally some things that I think partners will be real interested to hear. And so we are excited to be able to present that next week.
Very cool. So the audience next week is all partner, I think, isn't it? Or the end customers as well?
Yeah.
Very cool.
I think it could be. I think it looks like it's going to be a packed show, pretty successful, and the lineup of presentations are pretty, pretty beefy from the Microsoft side, and so.
Okay. So why don't you give me some highlights then to whet the appetite of people attending next week?
Yeah, I'll give you a little backstory. So as you know, I kind of started, working with you guys over 2 years ago, and it almost immediately saw the benefit of the discover portion of your platform for gathering requirements very quickly and efficiently, figuring out gap fits from a very generic standpoint, not geared at any one ERP software solution, but then having the ability to take those requirements and analyze them against the Dynamics products so that somebody could very quickly and efficiently understand, here are my business requirements. And we're not talking about the 50,000, questions that some of these, manual requirements processing projects do, but very business process, focused set of questions, and then mapping those against BC or F and SCM, and coming back and telling you as an end user, here's where your requirements fit, here's where they don't fit, here are some ISV solutions, and even developing high-level implementation plans and requirements as far as time, resources. And because it does that so quickly and efficiently, and in a data-driven mode, as opposed to opinions or sales and marketing information, just absolutely genius for cutting that real critical requirements planning, requirements gathering and fit gap analysis, taking that and just, cutting it to a bare minimum with what I think is a better result. So when I saw that, I immediately thought that, yes, this is a great tool for partners, but this is also a great tool for us to sell directly to customers, to be able to understand where they're going, in their ERP journey. And as we were out talking to end users at roadshow events, the Dynamics roadshow events, when we were presenting this opportunity to end users to do these requirements gathering sessions, I found out that half the folks that were talking to me ended up being partners that were real interested. And so as we spoke to partners more and more, a little light bulb clicked in my head that if I was back in the partner mode, that what I would do is I would leverage this in multiple ways. And as we started developing that and talking to partners about it, we have found that there's really these great 3 ways that we can work with partners, obviously using your guys' platform, and improve to a great extent sales and execution of these projects. So we're kind of looking forward to giving people an overview of what we have done that we have found to be really successful, and hopefully have some more partners that are interested in playing reindeer games.
So tell me about those 3 then. What are the 3 main ways that you're seeing it being used?
Yeah. So if you objectively look at the discover process, and the original idea is that is intended for partners to more efficiently be able to go out, talk to a new prospect, identify their requirements, and then very quickly, but with a high level of accuracy, develop implementation plan, a proposal, all those good things. I've been in a lot of partner organizations where every new sales effort and every new project is almost a do-over. And you have different salespeople have different approaches, and there's no continuity as far as how these projects, are budgeted, how their proposals go out. And so the Discover tool was a great opportunity for partners to standardize that process, speed it up, and more importantly, have accurate proposals. And if you think about it, if you're selling some configured manufactured item, highly configured, the faster you can quote and better, the more of a chance you have, number 1, of capturing business, and number 2, of actually making money on it. So that analogy works in the ERP implementation world, because if you can create proposals faster and, more importantly, accurately, better chance you have of winning business and then executing on something that's profitable. So that's that first bucket. How do you go out, look better against your competition, and get more business because you're creating very high level, data-driven proposals and gap fits on a very professional manner? So that was that first bucket. Then you asked me about 3, right?
Yeah.
Okay, let me see if I can remember them. There's 3. So the second thing that we have found out is that when we speak to partners, and I know this, from my old partner days, is you have an install base. And whether you have 5 customers in your install base, 50, 500, or 5,000, it is very, very difficult to understand what those guys are doing at any moment. So you don't know if anybody is doing what we call playing NetSuite footsie. So we assume all this universal understanding of people of what's happening in the ERP world. So we know Microsoft has several cloud-based ERP solutions for folks to look at, but that doesn't mean our install base knows that. And they may not know that even 1 exists or 2 exists. And so understanding what your customers' understanding is of where their possible paths are in this ERP journey of theirs, and who they're talking to and why they're talking to them, is a very difficult thing to understand. So what I have found is that when I talk to current customers, let's say a Great Plains customer or an AX customer, and I explain to them what Discover can do, and by the way, give them this great understanding of how they potentially fit if they wanted to move to BC, or if they wanted to move to FSCM, FNSCM, or what the potential cost is. That is invaluable information for customers, especially because as I start delivering on these Discover sessions, I've heard comments where people are challenging me because they've done their research, and their research doesn't line up with what I'm telling them that Discover is telling them. And so what we find out is that, yes, you researched this, but you've arrived at, you've arrived at an opinion based on opinions and marketing materials. And now we're looking at it from a data standpoint, and that doesn't match up with what a sales guy told you or what marketing literature is telling you. So the ability to go into your install base with an incredible tool that offers real value is a conversation that's very easy to have with the install base. Now, here's an interesting thing. When you talk to the install base, it's great if they run the Discover session because it puts you on that path of being their partner in the next, for the next solution. But even if they decide, no, this is not for us, and as an aside, we've got about an 80 to 90% success rate in folks that we talk to that want to do one of these sessions. But just having that conversation about the value that one of these Discover sessions has gives you some information on where their head's at. And so the ability to have a valuable asset to offer to your install base that keeps them, because they may be thinking about moving somewhere else, and then you lose the maintenance, you lose the opportunity to move them forward, et cetera. Absolutely invaluable. Because as a partner, what do you go talk to the install base about? Oh, look, I have a new AP automation solution. It's only the 15th one we've seen this year, but it's different. So there's a lot of stuff that, and I love picking on the AP automation guys because
DocuPhase are cool though, so let's leave them alone. But
there's thousands of them. But anyways, the key there is having actual great value and a reason to talk to them, and either executing Discover and adding to that value, or at a bare minimum, getting this tremendous insight on what the user base is doing.
Yeah. Well, look, and just on that one as well, I think, especially where if a customer's currently on Great Plains or GP or NAV or AX for that matter, other partners will be talking to them about moving them to the cloud, right? That the conversation is going to be happening. If not, Microsoft will be talking to them directly. It's just happening, right? So, and I'm aware of partners out there that based on the current upgrade rate, it's going to take them 15 years to move their partners to the to move all their customers to the cloud.
Yes.
Right? So I think having that ability to have that conversation with them, you can then start to work out which ones are realistically going to want to move quicker than others, and you can start having a plan rather than just doing it on an ad hoc basis. And at least then, when Microsoft start knocking on your door and saying, "Why are all your customers still on-prem?" At least then you can say, "Look, we've spoken to them. This is the plan. This is how we're going to get them there." So it's a good step for that as well.
Yeah, that's a really good thought. I hadn't thought about it. I got to write that down. And I got to make that my thought next time.
Oh, no, it's definitely your thought. You told me about an hour ago. It's fine.
Very good. Yeah. No, absolutely. Absolutely. I think being able to create that plan, because some of the folks we talk to, they think they're going to do it in a year. But this data is going to age extremely well because it's valuable in a year for them. And by the way, planning for these things takes time and effort. And so the kind of data that we deliver from a Discover session is ideal for that planning process. So yes, if you're planning to migrate tomorrow, moving to BC or FNSCM, it's the perfect tool to get that process started. But if you're planning to do it 6 months from now or a year from now, the data that we get out from a Discover session is invaluable in the planning process and allows them to be more proactive in what to look for and how to plan these projects.
Yeah.
Number three, yes. All right. So because we started working with Discover and you guys in a direct manner, what we did is we started marketing aggressively and at scale to Great Plains, NAB, and AX customers to talk to them about running Discover sessions for them. And the byproduct of that marketing and executing on Discover sessions for customers is that we are now building up this fantastic pipeline of opportunities, and we understand where they are, when they're going to move and what they need. And guess what? A lot of them need a different partner, because what we're finding is that the first thing we ask people is, who's your partner? Do they want to be involved in the process? Because we love to play well with partners, bring them on board. They may want to do this for other customers that they have. A lot of times the end user says, we don't speak to them that often, we don't have anybody, or we don't think they can take us to that next level. Well, guess what? That next level could be an implementation. I'm not going to do implementation work. So I can either let these things, drift off into the ether, or what we can do based on our marketing efforts is take these to partners that are working with us that we've identified as great manufacturing partners, great BC partners, et cetera. So the last part of this, from a partner standpoint in working with us and you guys, is that there is that ability to stand out on the net new, go into your install base, protect that, and build a bunch of business there, but also have the opportunity to get deals on a silver platter, because that's not what we're doing. So, that's kind of an interesting differentiator. So we're not out talking to partners, asking to get deals with them. What we're doing is we're out talking to partners, telling them, look, here's a great opportunity for you. And by the way, we're looking for folks where we can bring opportunities to and make sure that they're handled in a nice manner. So to me, that's the discover piece. And then we start talking about the next parts of your platform, where the whole execution part of projects gets turbocharged. But we're going to leave that for another time. This is all about discover and the 3 ways that partners. I think I put up 4 fingers. The 3 ways that partners can really benefit in working with us.
That's okay. It's the German way of counting it. I get it. It's fine.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
No, that's not. And I can't
Germans are engineers.
I can't even say the name of the film that made the Quentin Tarantino film about that. All right, so the session's next week. Can you remind people when that is?
I cannot, because I don't remember. But we will include that in the information.
Yeah, cool. So thank you very much for that. If you've been watching this either live or recorded and want to get in touch with Peter before next week, or want to meet up with him in person next week, I've put his email address up here, so feel free to get in touch. Yeah. I'm sure he would love to meet up with you and share a coffee of some description. Yeah. And then it would be. I'm just disappointed I'm not going to be there, to be honest.
Yeah. So the last thing I want to add is I think we're on Thursday just before the keynote address.
Okay, great.
So no pressure before the keynote guy, right? And the other thing is what we're going to be presenting is partner programs, because we need that select set of partners to work with. And if you want to jump ahead of line on that, the offers that we're going to have that day, send me a note here, because we are going to have some very specific offers that are going to be good just for that day, because we think this is going to be very popular as far as partners wanting to partake in the programs that we're going to outline.
Very cool indeed.
Yes, sir. Well, thank you.
Thank you very much for your time, and thanks everybody who's joined us today, either live or recorded. And I hope everybody has a great week next week. And go and visit the original Starbucks store. That's my favorite thing to do.
Sure. I'll report after.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a great rest of your week.
Thank you, sir.